Hey, you did it. You found it. You found the podcast version of the show. It's Writer Radio. Here are the things you need to know. We stream live Monday through Friday, 10 a.m. to noon Eastern Time at writerradio.com. 2, you can find every episode on YouTube, youtube.com/@writerradio. We're on Spotify, same name, Writer Radio. We are on Twitter or X @BradWriter, BradRiter. We're on Instagram @Writer Radio. There's a group now, Writer Radio Facebook group. Go there, find that, follow that, like it, whatever you have to do. We've got a phone number. You can send texts, leave voicemail, 716-288-5246. Email, bradwriter@gmail.com. You don't need to memorize this. It can all be found at writerradio.com. That's the hub. But those are the places. Thanks for listening. Please tell a friend. Please share. That's how we grow. Glad to have you on board to the podcast version of Writer Radio. I forgot to play the Swedish Chef. Can the show start without the Swedish Chef? It's all become so confusing with the camera now. Should I turn this down and play the Swedish? I don't feel right without the Swedish Chef. I'm doing it. I said the hip, hop, the hippie, the hippie, the hip, hip, hop, you don't stop the rocket to the bang, bang, boogie, say, yup, yup, the boogie to the rhythm of the boogie to beat. Now what the hell is to the twist, I'm ripping to the beat. Have you hit the groove? And my friends are gonna try to move your feet. Say, I am Undermook, and I'd like to say hello. I to the black, to the white, the red, and the blue, the purple, and yellow. But first I gotta bang, bang, the boogie to the boogie, say, to the boogie to the bang, bang, boogie. 4, 3. All right, now this part of the song. And after he says all right, then I can start talking. All right. All right, now we can start the show. Sorry about that. I don't know if you care about the details of what just happened there, but what's funny is, so I've got 2 different live streams going at the same time, all running off of like a 10-year-old computer. So this is, at some point, it's all just going to explode. There'll just be a massive explosion, and the podcast will go away for the day. I've got 2 different streams going, and so I'm used to the audio one. I've got a little thing that shows that. And if I see little green lights lighting up when I'm talking or when there's music playing, I know that's working. So that's cool. And then that's most important. That's getting the audio out there. That's what we're doing. We're doing an audio podcast that happens to have a video element now because it's 2025 and you have to do that. So I did the audio thing. And I was like, oh, let me make sure the stream on YouTube is working. So I opened that up and I've got a browser. I've got three screens here. Everything's coming from this. The laptop is down here, and there's a screen up there, and there's a screen over there. And over there is like where the music comes from. And up there is where I have like news and anything else I need on the screen. And then down here is the YouTube, the video broadcast feed thing. But I can't tell for sure if it's on YouTube. So I opened a browser up there of YouTube, and there's a little bit of a delay on the YouTube one. So as the open was playing and the Kermit was talking, as the Kermit was talking, I could still hear Joe Jackson playing the song Friday, and I didn't know why, and it's because there's a little bit of a delay, and it's because the YouTube thing was playing. The audio from YouTube up there was going back out, and that's no good. So I had to handle that. I muted that, then that went away. I was like, okay, cool. And then I realized the Swedish Chef hadn't played in that because it was like a 5-second window that everything I just described in 30 seconds, it happened in 5 seconds. And I forgot about Swedish Chef. So we got him in. Everything's fine. I have to turn the speaker down before we have feedback on that. All right. If you do not, this is just a real quick question. I don't even think it's that interesting now. I have it written down as the first thing I wanted to talk about, but I don't even think it's interesting now. I'm going to say it anyway. That's the plan. I stick with plans, man. I'm just going with it. I'm proud of myself for knowing that today is September 26th. The only reason I know it is September 26th is that I write the date down on my little show sheet. Here, this is what's happening on the show today. That's what we're gonna do. See that in the camera? All right. At the bottom down here. God, I'm terrible terrible at this camera stuff. I write the date. I write the show number. I circle the day, which is Friday. I have Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday written there, and I circle it. Then I have the date, 9/26/25, and then I have episode 175. I have all those things written down so that I can cite them at any point during the 2-hour broadcast. I am proud to say that for the first time in years, many years, I generally know what the date is. Now, we all know the date when it's around Christmas, right? Oh, Christmas is on a Thursday this year. It's Monday. It must be the 22nd. You know, like that kind of deal. But, or, it's my birthday. Like, I know around then. Like, that kind of stuff. But other than people who work in a bank, or I don't know where else. I don't know where else you guys care about dates. I don't ever know the date. I always have to look up the date, ask someone the date. If I'm writing a check for some reason, again, we're back at the bank thing. But like, I don't. If I wrote checks all the time, I would know the date. I don't know the date. Do people know the date without having to like really think about it? I just wrote down that it was September 26th, and that was like that just came out of me. Just it was in my head because I've already written down the 22nd, 3rd, 4th, and 5th this week. And today I just knew the date. I'm pretty proud of that. It's probably not anything to be super proud of. Here's another thing I'm not super proud of. Because of the video stream, if you're watching on the video stream, on the YouTube thing, you will notice that my shirt today is green. I have a green shirt on. Why do I have a green shirt on? This is how you people are messing up my life. Here's why I have a green shirt on. Because at like 9:55 this morning, I looked at myself on the screen once I had the thing set up, and I thought, dude, you're wearing the same shirt you've had on since you went to the volleyball game on Wednesday. No, I haven't taken a shower. I haven't. But we shouldn't have to talk about that on the radio, right? If it's a radio show, I call it Writer Radio. It's a radio show. I don't have to tell you, yeah, I'm in the same shirt. I've got shorts on. I'm not in my underwear today. But I've got, I now have to consider that the show looked exactly the same as it looked yesterday. So that's disturbing on multiple levels. One is difficulty in picking out clips if I'm trying to do something promo-wise, promotionally, YouTube, short videos, whatever. They let me do Spotify, like, promotional videos now, too. I need it to not look exactly the same. The set is the same. The camera is exactly where it was. It's pointing at the exact same wall that it was pointing at previously. So that looks the same. And then I look the same. My makeup is exactly the same as it was yet. I'm just kidding. I don't wear makeup. But you get what I'm saying. It just looked the same. So A, I don't want it to look the same. And B, I don't want you to be distracted by the fact that I'm gross. I didn't do anything. The most physically exhausting thing I did was sit in a chair for, it had to be an hour and a half, undoing the damage I did to that winch/wire thing that goes around the pool to close it. Because I messed that up and I had to sit and undo it. And I solved it yesterday. But, like, that's the most physically demanding thing I did. I sat here, I did a show. I sat here and edited things. I sat here, I sat a lot. And shower never crossed my mind. Did I go anywhere yesterday? Oh, yeah, I bought golf shoes. I went to the golf shoe store at like 7:30 last night. It's the only time I left my house yesterday was to buy golf shoes. Do you know why I bought golf shoes? I'm going to tell you why I bought golf shoes. I bought golf shoes because at some point, I would say last year, it must have been last year, I was playing golf with Brian Janik, actually, of thefinancialguys.com, now that I think about it. I was playing golf with Brian, and our mutual friend Dave Radka. And I don't remember if there was another maybe Brian's son Tyler. I think that's who it was. That was our foursome. Me, Dave, Brian, Tyler. And I was walking, and I heard like a kind of a slapping, flopping, flapping noise. And I realized that my golf shoe, my right shoe, the whole sole of the shoe was just off. So it was just kind of doing that as I walked. It wasn't off, but it was coming off from the toe. It was disconnected, and then it was still connected at the heel. So it was making this noise. I'm walking. I'm here. What is that sound? It was my golf shoe. Now, the golf shoe was really old. I remember where I got those golf shoes. I got those at a tournament. You ever been to a golf tournament where they give you a gift, and that gift is golf shoes? Because that was awesome. That one I went to with Brian Koziel, and that had to be 18 years ago. So I had a pair of golf shoes that held up for 17 years, 14 years, something like that. Because I play like 3 times a year. So when I noticed the golf shoe flapping around, I noticed it as we were walking onto the 9th green. And I thought, perfect. Give me a second. I finished the hole. I got in my cart. I drove to my truck. On the way, I threw my golf shoes out. I put my sneakers back on. I played in sneakers. I felt fine. That was, an emergency situation. I had to play in sneakers. Then, the next time I played golf was, 2 months later. At no point between that time and the time I was playing did I think, I got to buy golf shoes. So I didn't buy golf shoes. And then it was the off season. And then last year, or this year, I've played like 3 times where I realized right as I'm about to go there that I don't have golf shoes. But I'm playing on Monday for the first or second time this year. And I realized in advance I don't have golf shoes. And you know why? It's because I'm picking up Thomas Ian Nicholas to take him there. I'm driving him there. I'm his ride. I'm the chauffeur. I have to vacuum my truck now. And I certainly need golf shoes. I'm hanging out at this classy joint. Gowanda Country Club. A bunch of high rollers. And Thomas Ian Nicholas, a.k.a. Henry Rowengartner from Rookie of the Year. I'm picking him up at a hotel. I'm driving to Josh's house. I'm picking up Josh. And we're driving to Gowanda. I have to have golf shoes. So I went and bought golf shoes to impress the kid from Rookie of the Year. That's my life. I have a weird life. But I also have golf shoes. They're nice, too. They're pretty sweet. Maybe I'll show them to you later. They have green in them also. Like a green shirt, green hat, golf shoes with green in them. All right, I've written down 3 things at the bottom here to start the show. 1 was date. That was the thing about how I know the date. 2 is shirt/shower. Got it. I got the golf shoes already, which I didn't have written down. And then 3, I have written down, same as it ever was. And here's why. I did a lot of, I had the football game on last night, but I didn't want to just sit and do nothing and watch football. So I had football on over there on the screen that's, the TV that's stuck to the wall over there. And no one was around. It was just me down here. But for several hours, I was just working on stuff for the show. Mostly the visual aspect. Like today when I talk to Scott Wilson at 11 o'clock, it'll be me live on one side, and then on the other side, it'll be this cool like cartoon version of Scott. And I want to do that for all of the regular guests, which is, Bob and John and Paul, but certainly Scott. Scott's on the most, so that was the most important. And it was most pressing because he's on today. So there's going to be a nice cartoon visual representation of Scott. I was working on dumb stuff like that last night. But also kind of looking around online and paying attention to stuff. And one of the things that happened was I was on Facebook. And they have Facebook memories, which is pretty fun. It's just stuff that you posted on this date in history. And now we're getting up there with Facebook. I've been on since, I don't know what year, 2008, maybe? Is that when Facebook started, or is that when I started? Whatever. We're coming up on 20 years. So it's cool because I'll see, oh, yeah, that's right. On this day, X number of years ago, we were heading to the hospital because one of the kids is being born. And, like, it's fun, the memories stuff in Facebook. But it occurred to me that one of the things I do on the show, not consistently, I used to do it when it was the radio show, like actually on the radio. I did it pretty much every day. Excuse me. But I do this day in history. Like what happened yesterday, we talked about how the Bill of Rights passed Congress on this day, on yesterday, in 1789. And it's kind of fun to just think about old stuff. But it's also fun to think about stuff in your own past. So it occurred to me last night that Facebook memories are essentially this day in history, but a very, very personalized, localized version of it. And I cut and pasted 3 of my Facebook memories into a document that is on my screen over here right now. I've got 2 of them from 2014, and I've got 1 of them from 2010. I'll do the most boring one first, which is 2010, the one I have the least to say about. September 25th, 2010, I wrote, on the 11th floor and can hear/understand word for word conversations on the street. Weird. And I didn't know what that meant, so I had to go through the comments. And then somebody, Mike the Quitter. Anyone remember Mike the Quitter? Mike the intern, Mike the Quitter. Mike Werner's his real name. He was an intern for me a long time ago at GR. And we remain in touch. He has a son named Andrew who was born on the same day as my son named Andrew. He had twins that day. I just had one. But he's got 4 kids. He's got 2 sets of twins. He's a nurse. His wife is a doctor. They lived in Connecticut at the time. And I went, oh, yeah, we were in Connecticut. I was on the 11th floor of a hotel with Scott Wilson, I'm sure. And noticed that I could hear and understand word for word a conversation on the street. And I knew from the comments, he said, Connecticut's weird or something. It's like, yeah, okay, that's what that was. What's also cool about that is the day before on my Facebook memories was a big pile of pictures from touring of the ESPN facility. Because at the time, we were playing at UConn, and there was a guy who was very high up in the chain. He's not there anymore. But a guy named Jerry who was VP of something. He was in charge of like the people, like director of personnel or something at ESPN. And he also happened to be a UB grad. And UB played at UConn that week. And we were invited and we went in and we got a tour. And I've got all these cool pictures of the ESPN campus. This is 15 years ago, yesterday, that I toured that place. And I thought that was super cool because who are the Bulls playing this weekend? UConn. So this thing just pops up like, hey, dude, remember when you played UConn? And you went to ESPN? Oh, yeah. And we're playing UConn this week, too. So 15 years ago. This is why I have written down, same as it ever was. 15 years ago. Look, Brad, look at your memories. Remember way back when you worked for a football team and they played against the Huskies? I was like, yeah. Like this week. It's the same thing. It's here this time instead of there. But I thought that was interesting. So I already was thinking, same as it ever was. Same as it ever was. Same as it ever was. I like the Talking Heads. I like Talking Heads. I like David Byrne. That is for sure going to be the next song we hear. Once in a Lifetime will be the next song you hear on this show. Okay, so that one was like mildly interesting, already had me thinking in that direction. But check this one out. This is pretty good. September 25th, 2014. Keep in mind the same as it ever was thing, okay? Here's what I wrote. This is me making commentary on the events of that particular time period. I wrote, Bill Simmons gets suspended, certainly with pay. So, a vacation. If he just says it and ESPN doesn't react, they get almost nothing out of it. So they blow it up and make sure everyone knows they employ a heel. Now they get credit for both distributing the comments and condemning them. Plus, when he returns, all the deadspins of the world will share a link to the podcast. Everybody wins. Do you get what I'm doing here? Bill Simmons was the Boston sports guy, Boston-based sports guy. First, he was the Boston sports guy doing his own thing, like for AOL. Then he got hired by ESPN, and he was just called the sports guy because you wouldn't just call him the Boston sports guy when he's doing a national thing. But there's always been a Boston thing implied there. Bill Simmons called out Roger Goodell. He called him a liar. Bill Simmons called Roger Goodell a liar. And he meant it. And in a world where speech is free, he should have been allowed to say it. And he was allowed to say it. But there are consequences. It's free speech, but there are consequences. If your employer decides they don't like what you're saying into their microphone, they don't have to keep letting you talk into their microphone. I know that very well. But he criticized an incredibly powerful dude whose business, the NFL, had quite a bit of sway over the network. And clearly something happened, communication between the league and the network. And the network went, yes, sir, we will not tolerate this either, sir. We have a business deal. You're very important to our bottom line. Whatever you need. And they suspended Bill Simmons. Bill Simmons, as I mentioned, was the Boston sports guy. He stopped being a Boston sports guy when he moved to L.A. Why did he move to L.A.? As it turns out, he's done a lot of things that wouldn't have been possible without the move to L.A. But he moved to L.A. to work for Jimmy Kimmel. The Jimmy Kimmel Show began, and he was initially on the staff as a writer. I believe he left ESPN for a year or two to work for Kimmel, and then eventually came back, and maybe he did both at the same time at some point, but I don't think so. I think he left ESPN and was at Kimmel for, let's say, a year and a half, and then went back to ESPN. But he was LA-based at that point. My point is, similar sensibilities. Two guys in Simmons and Kimmel who look around. They know what you're supposed to say. They know the right things to say. They know how to keep their business partners happy. But sometimes you see something, you got to say something because you know it's true. And then you got to deal with the consequences of that. And that's what happened to Bill Simmons 11 years ago. And it's what happened to Jimmy Kimmel this past couple weeks. And I just found it incredibly, there's a word I want here. I can't think of it. I'm not going to spend too much time dwelling on that word. That whole time I was trying to think of the word, but I didn't get it. It's interesting. It's very interesting. Bill Simmons and also well written by me. Pretty good commentary by me. Got to compliment the writer. Literally, the Brad writer. Bill Simmons gets suspended, certainly with pay, so a vacation. If he just says it and ESPN doesn't react, they get almost nothing out of it. So they blow it up, make sure everyone knows they employ a heel. Now they get credit for both distributing the comments and condemning them. Plus, when he returns, all the Deadspins of the world will share a link to the podcast. Everybody wins. Nailed it. I nailed it then. And maybe that's why it was so obvious to me what needed to be said about the Kimmel thing. And I know what needed to be said, like I'm some important person, but what I need to say for me. When I do this, I have to pretend that everything I say matters. Otherwise, what's the point? Otherwise, put the microphone down, don't do it. I know I'm not talking to millions like Simmons or Kimmel or whatever. But I know that I could be. Because what I'm saying is correct. And I found that just very interesting. That happened. The connection. There are a million connections there. Simmons and Kimmel and Carolla are kind of all on the same team to me. Cousin Sal. And that happened that long ago, and it just happened again. Only difference is the NFL is more powerful than the federal government. Because I don't think Simmons came back from that. I think that's probably what led to, why can't I think of it? Grantland? No, not Grantland. The Ringer. I think he was probably Grantland at that point, and I'd have to go back and look at the timeline. But Simmons was controversial at ESPN and eventually was told he couldn't be there anymore. But he was fine because he had an HBO deal coming, and then he started The Ringer, and everything's cool. But that was truth to power, I believe, is the phrase that people use. We're back to free speech. If I'm in charge of hosting a show and I'm talking about the NFL, I'm pretending I'm Bill Simmons right now, and I'm talking about the NFL consistently, and I determine that the president of the league is lying to me. The commissioner of the league is the right term, but you know what I'm saying here. He's lying. I have to say out loud that he's lying. Otherwise, I can't live with myself. And that's Kimmel. The commissioner of the league, in this case, the league, is the United States, and his minions are building up this BS thing. I have to call it out when I see it, so he did it, and then they've got the power to shut him down. The NFL, as Bob Gaughan has pointed out multiple times, the NFL is more powerful than the U.S. government. It's the biggest thing we've got going. We could get into like pharmaceutical companies too if you want, but the NFL says you can't be there. You can't be there. Bill Simmons was not important enough to ESPN to jeopardize any sort of financial deal with the league. So they said bye-bye. And this is the same process that started rolling but stopped when Kimmel was put back on the air. All right, so those are two of them. One was the 11th floor UConn, and the Bulls are playing UConn this week. One was Simmons gets suspended and Kimmel got suspended. And then the other one is, does it feel good? This is also from 2014. So this is, I'll read it and then we'll get to that. Does it feel good to say something super disrespectful about how the president did something super disrespectful? Honest question. And I had to look to see what exactly that meant. But it was, Barack Obama was president at the time, and he didn't salute someone or something. This is right around the time that everything turned to crap. Social media had just really gotten going. Twitter was really a thing. And I don't remember the exact circumstance, but the president, who's not actually a part of the military, didn't salute someone who, if you were in the military, you would have saluted, but he didn't. And it became a thing. Because there was a target on him, because it was already in the works to try to take him down, or take down the Democratic Party, at least, for the 2016 election, which ultimately ended up working. But creating these scenarios where, can you believe it? This guy when you weren't looking or watching, didn't salute even though he wasn't in the military. It didn't, like, none of it was really a dumb thing. I don't remember all the details of it. I just remember thinking it was dumb. And it was the start of where we are now, which is over-analysis of things that don't need to be even discussed just because everyone has a voice now, just because everyone has the ability to put their opinions, right or wrong, cool or not, out into the universe and then have them amplified by social media and other like-minded morons. Like, what I could say anything stupid that I want, and someone stupid will agree with me. And if I have a big enough platform, I can get a rally going about anything. And that's the world we live in now. And that's the first I remember it being that way. So, can you believe this guy? Can you believe he didn't? Can I believe what? He didn't salute. Was he supposed to salute? Well, I mean, no, but it was just dumb. And that's where we live. Like, everything is that now. So I just found all of this interesting. That's this day in history. Well, it's yesterday in history. But all three of those things came up in my memories yesterday. I haven't looked at my memories from today yet. Maybe there's something there. We have to play a song, and I will take a look. It's Writer Radio. Scott Wilson will join me just after 11 o'clock. It's episode 175. It's September 26th, 2025, and you are listening to Writer Radio.
This portion of Writer Radio has been deleted for the podcast version. If you want to hear everything that happens, listen live weekdays 10 to noon at writerradio.com.
We're going to do a few minutes here. Then we'll play one song so I can call Scott, and we'll talk to Scott Wilson here on episode 175. 175 of Writer Radio. So if you were with us moments ago, before I started playing songs, you would know that I have discovered that this day in history is the same thing as Facebook memories. It's just, I remember many, many, many years ago, a famous man named Jeremy White told me, it was when he first was getting into using Facebook. I'm sure he's off of it. Well, he's still there, but he's cooler than that now. Facebook's for old people. And Jer is still young-ish and plays younger because he's active and, like, he's out there. Jer's cool. Jer's hip. Facebook's not cool or hip. But I remember Jeremy at some point saying, and he got this right, said the thing that I've learned about Facebook is it's like CNN, but about your friends. And I don't know if he has said that a million times or if he just said it once and it stuck with me, but it's totally right. Like, yeah, I'm wondering what's going on in the world. So I go on Facebook, and then I find out, who made the varsity team here and who's doing cheerleading and who's pregnant and who died. All the stuff you need to know. How's the weather in Colorado? At my friend's house in Colorado. Like, it's just, I don't care how the weather is in Colorado unless I've got a person who lives in Colorado, and Facebook will tell me about the weather in Colorado if it's severe and if I know somebody there. So that's what was nice about it. So, like, even going back then, he said it's like CNN. And this is kind of the same thing. It's like looking back on history, but through my own perspective. So, and it goes back a while now. Because, yes, I was on here in 2008. So they're on here. It's like on this day, 17 years ago. I have updates like that. So I'm going through all of them, and we'll stop at the ones that matter. This might become a new segment. Just looking back, this day in history, my Facebook account style. 17 years ago, I said, looking good, Pete Carroll. I don't know what Pete Carroll was up to. Let's see where Pete Carroll was in 2008. I assume USC. Pete Carroll, September 25, 2008. See what happens. Why did Robert Kraft fire him? He was definitely at USC at the time. I don't know what happened exactly. All right. Doesn't matter. Moving on. Above that, September 26th, 2008, Brad Ryder is bowling in Clare, Michigan. That would have been my second ever UB road trip. First one was to Pitt. We started with a home game against UTEP. Then we were at Pitt. And then we were either home or on the road at Central Michigan. We were in Clare. I believe we're going there this year. Clare is a dump, but whatever, it's fine. 14 years ago, 2011, someone wrote to me and said, so I take it that you finally got around to watching The Wire? I said, I did. I loved it. I'm with those who call it the best TV series of all time. I still think it's one. I could be talked into something else, but I love The Wire. I've got friends now. They're like, yeah, I still got to watch that. 14 years ago, somebody was like, finally, you watched The Wire? And I did. There's a picture of me and Fred Jackson looking like we're on a date. I don't remember the exact circumstances. It was like an auto show. It was something at the convention center. I could picture where I was sitting. There's a WEC banner behind me because I was working at WECK at the time. And I've got a headset on, very similar to the one I'm wearing right now. I actually think I look better now than then. My hair is darker and more of a declarative statement. It's dark hair. But I think I was fatter. I think I'm better now. I'm older. Everything's grayer. Although my hair is not that gray. I say my hair is not gray. Because hold on, I'm going to take off my hat. Hold on a second. It's all messy and dirty. So on the sides, like you can see, there's gray. That's the wrong side. There's gray. But mostly, if you were describing me, you wouldn't say gray-haired man. You'd say dark hair. You'd say tall. You'd say big. You could say fat. But I don't think you would say gray-haired man. But then I look at this picture, I was like, whoa, I'm a gray-haired man. And then there was a picture the other day, we were at a volleyball game. We went to watch a volleyball game, and we saw somebody we knew, and for some reason, I stood up and they were commenting how tall my son is, my oldest son. And I was like, well, he was, 6'1.5" a couple months ago when he got measured at the doctor's office. But then he was standing. I looked. I was like, whoa, we got to go back to back. I got to see how much I have on him still because he's catching me. And our friend took a picture real quick and then showed it to me to show me the difference in height. We went back to back, show me the difference in height. I did not at all pick up on the difference in height. All I saw was, wow, that's a dark-haired kid and a gray-haired man. Like, next to him, my hair is gray. And I'm looking at this picture of me and Fred Jackson. My hair was dark, and it is not like that anymore. So I've been lying to myself a little bit. Okay, that was 14 years ago. This is fun. 2011, also 14 years ago, I wrote, I wish the Bills could get some attention on NFL Network. There's some show on, and they had the little rundown on the side. Little rundown of the stories they're going to get to. And the first one is Jets and Raiders. Jets 24, Raiders 34. I know I just said a score backward in the way that I hate. I'm just reading it the way it is on the screen because the Jets were the road team. So it's Raiders beat the Jets is the first thing. The next headline is Believing in Buffalo. The next headline is Bills live report. The next headline is Are Bills for real? Question mark. The next line is Duke's a Believer. The next one is Bills 34, Patriots 31. So this is right after this is right around when Fitz signed. Remember they had the multiple comebacks. I think it was Raiders and then Patriots. Patriots game at home. Beat the stupid Pats and Brady. People were partying in the streets. It was the same day the Foo Fighters played in Buffalo. Anybody remember attending a Foo Fighters show the same day that Fitz helped the Bills come back and beat the Pats? I do. At the time, we lived in Cheektowaga, and you could see McDonald's from our living room. And there were people just partying in the McDonald's parking lot when we were leaving to go see Foo Fighters downtown. The party continued. We were very excited. That season turned into nothing. But the Bills did beat the Pats that day, and that was fun. 2017, 8 years ago, I just posted a thing with like a meme thing. And it's Cole Sear. Who's Cole Sear? Do you guys know who Cole Sear is? Cole Sear is the kid played by Haley Joel Osment in The Sixth Sense. And the meme says, I see dumb people walking around like regular people. That one's not worth discussing. This one's fun. 2017, there's a WBEN story. A Buffalo Bills season ticket holder was denied entry into last Sunday's game against the Denver Broncos because of a handmade sign which read, "Stand up, stop the disrespect, USA." That's clearly Kaepernick. I can't believe we're already 8 years removed from the Kaepernick fiasco, but that's definitely what that is. My quote there was, or more accurately, piece of cardboard denied entry, fan goes to game anyway, which I'm sure is what happened. But hey, look, it's the media fanning the flames of controversy and race baiting. What a freaking surprise. It's a tale as old as time. Thanks, BEN. A fan was denied entry just because he wrote "Stand up, stop the disrespect, USA" on cardboard. No, he wasn't. No, he wasn't. Liars. I commented here, I was denied entry because of a bottle of water, but then I threw it away and was granted entry. I demand coverage. Why isn't anybody talking about that one? Nobody's talking about that one. All right. That was 8 years ago. We won our trivia game in 2018, 7 years ago. I was hosting trivia at CBW 2 years ago, and I'm wearing a CBW shirt right now. My green, there it is, Community Beer Works. I wrote then, trivia, CBW beer, and I got to wear a UB shirt in the video. Yeah, this pretty much sums up my life. Only thing missing is Southline Little League. I'm still in that spot. I still do all those things. Beer and trivia and UB and Southline and radio. It's all the same. Then there's something about Soul Coughing, the band. I'm going to play a song, and then we're going to talk to Scott Wilson. Also realized David Byrne played Shays last night, so I don't feel guilty about just loading you up with Talking Heads music today. I looked at the set list. It seems awesome. Bob Gaughan went to it. We'll get a review from him, I hope, when we talk to him next week. I texted him about it once I looked at the set list. They opened with Heaven, which is maybe their best song. I mean, it's not, but it is. But it isn't, but it is. It's episode 175. Scott Wilson joins me next. It's Writer Radio. Thank you for listening.
This portion of Writer Radio has been deleted for the podcast version. If you want to hear everything that happens, listen live weekdays 10 to noon at writerradio.com.
Let's check in with Writer Radio's senior football correspondent, Scott Wilson.
We've got a brand new graphic for the video portion of this. It's a cartoon version of Scott Wilson. It's an actual photograph. Did you see the cartoon version of you that I'm using on the thing?
I think you sent me a picture of it, correct?
I did, yeah. Did you recognize what it's from?
I just, I found it to be acceptable.
Yeah, it's fine.
I'm not exactly a model or anything, so I think you could always get nervous what type of caricature gets done up by AI. But I think it did all right.
That was the best of the four. I think you would have hated the others. There was one, and again, look, none of us are models. All right, this is in no way am I going to pit the attractiveness of you or me or any of our friends against each other in this conversation. But I will say, the first one that I did, I used a Family Guy style AI thing, And if I showed it to you, you would be like, oh, that's what Pete Lembo would look like on Family Guy. And this is not a knock on Pete or on Family Guy. It's not a knock on Peter. It's not. But I did not think you would like that picture. It was you. So in the picture that I used to generate an AI thing of you, you had not like a full beard, but you were pretty scruffy. Kind of the way I walk around a lot of time. Like I wouldn't say I have a beard, but I wouldn't say I don't have a beard, and that's kind of how you were. So AI had to decide. AI apparently doesn't know how to do in between. So either it looks at it as like beard or no. And this one that we're using right now, it decided beard, and I think that's a good look for you. The other one, it decided no, and it just decided like, oh, that can't be hair. That must be more chins. So it made you like you looked like Pete, and it's no knock on Pete, but I didn't want to have that up there because honestly, I'm saving it for when Pete comes on. We'll just put him in UB Blue and use that caricature of him or something. I don't know. Wouldn't you rather have an AI caricature than your actual face?
Yeah. I mean, as long as it looks good.
I think it looks good. I think you look great.
All right. Yeah.
So the picture, it's you. I took a picture of you and Paul looking up at me with your backs to the field in the booth at Kent. I don't know, probably 2 years ago. So that's what the picture is. That's you at Kent. In the real picture, you're wearing a Bulls hat and you're wearing a shirt that says Buffalo across it, a sweatshirt that says Buffalo across it. One of the AI things, instead of leaving the word as Buffalo, changed it to demon.
Nice.
So it's you, a caricature of you, with a shirt that just says demon on it. And I thought about using that one, but I like the one we're going with here today.
I mean, you could argue that would make me look borderline demonic.
Yeah, you'd look demonic. That's borderline demonic.
Yeah.
To be quite honest, you look borderline
to be
demonic.
quite honest with it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So how are things? You sound sick. Are you? We talked
know,
yesterday, and you were a little ill. We talked for the UB football podcast, which I think has probably been posted by now. But you sounded bad, and you sound, I think, worse today.
Great. Yeah. No. Thank you for that. I was fine, and then I talked to you on Monday.
Yep.
And then now here I am. If you get it, here's kind of the way I look at it. With how close we all are between you, Paul, and me in these booths, UB's is kind of small, but just in general across the conference and places that we go.
Well, booths and planes and buses and all of it. Yeah.
If one of you guys, if one of you gets it, I'm getting it.
Right.
So,
we get on the same cycle like girls in college dorms.
That's just with colds. I think technically I would be listed on an injury report, but I am still definitely going to be, You're
playing.
Yeah.
You're probable, but we know that you're in.
Yeah. I mean, listen, if you've got me in fantasy league, I'm playing. We're I'll be there on Saturday at 3:30. No problem about that. But yeah, just a little, it's one of those seasonal allergy type of things, I'm not sure if seasonal allergies are a thing or if it's just associated around the time where
everyone gets sick.
Kids go back to school.
Right.
Kids go back to school and then everybody gets exposed. And then in the wintertime, in the spring, everybody kind of starts doing more things together again.
Yeah.
And then it comes around that time too. So, it is what it is. We're working. I'm working through it. We're going to be all right.
I remember how bad it was, like, when we first had kids. Like, you just live like a regular person, like a regular family, like a regular couple until you have a kid that you send away to daycare or preschool or kindergarten or whatever. And then within 3 days, everyone thinks they're going to die. Like, it's crazy. But,
yeah,
I think we're still seeing it. That's right. Like, kids went back to school, and then suddenly my wife had COVID. And then a week later, I was sick. I didn't test positive for COVID, but it seemed like the same stuff. And I'm still kind of a little off. There's a little cough thing, you just heard it there, a little runny nose. I don't know, not perfect, but whatever. It's a time of year to feel like crap and deal with it. Shut up and watch football, right?
Right. Yeah. No, that's where I'm at. At least last night was able to kind of veg out and just kind of relax on the couch. And baseball's been getting pretty interesting here the
Yeah.
last couple of weeks. But there was also a football game last night where key play of that game, whether you like it or not, was Maction. The Cardinals tie the game, and then Ryland, the kicker from I believe Eastern Michigan, came out and missed the target zone by a half yard, putting the other guys there, putting Seattle at the 40-yard line. And with kickers the way they are nowadays, they've got to complete one pass from the 40-yard line to get into field goal range. And that turned out to be they did it. They completed one pass and then brought out their kicker and won it at the buzzer. That game was terrible for 3 quarters, and then fourth quarter things kind of picked up and got exciting. But
is Darnold good?
No.
No. I mean, he's not good like Josh Allen good, but I'm not mad if he's my quarterback. If I in this land of there are only a couple of really good ones, I don't mind him. I don't think. I wondered if him splitting with Minnesota would break both of them, and it doesn't seem to have done either. Hasn't broken either, I don't think.
When he plays real teams, there's nothing there. I don't want to call him Tua because I think he's better than that.
Right.
But
but he's like a C.
When the rubber
C
meets the road last
C+?
year, they got killed.
C+.
Oh, all right, yeah.
He's all right.
Yeah, I can deal with that.
He's all right.
He's okay. I think that what happened was he got rushed in his development.
Right.
He should have gone back to USC for another year in college. That would have helped him out a great deal. And then, he went to the Jets, and that's a bad place to be for quarterbacks that are looking to do anything. So, I do think it is interesting being at this level of his career now, just finally turning into something. But I still don't think it's anything significant. And he has always played well at the start of the season. I think the knock on him is he never changes anything. And he's not like a real quick learner. So once teams start to adjust to what they're doing, he just keeps doing the same thing type of thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah, totally.
So the coaching last year for the Vikings helped him out with that. But I still don't view him as anything special. He's just, he's another version of Geno Smith.
Okay.
Maybe a little bit better than Geno. I don't know.
Well, I'm thinking about that draft, and Baker. It's kind of similar to what do you think of Baker?
See, I like Baker. I think Baker's got a little bit of juice to him that Darnold doesn't. Baker plays the game differently, and that makes me think of him differently. And in crunch time, Baker actually plays better and is able to. He's got I don't know the exact stats, but he's got a bunch of fourth quarter drives to tie or take the lead.
Sure.
And think about what the Cleveland Browns are. Only one guy went there and did anything.
Yep.
And it was him. And then they just immediately got rid of him.
Wow. Yeah.
So
I mean, I knew all of this, but just I'm thinking of being a Browns fan and like watching them beat the Steelers in the playoffs, thinking we got our guy. And then they decided, nah, not really. And I kind of agreed. I mean, like it was kind of a not really, but kind of like just stick with it. That's the best you're going to do. If we redraft those 4 quarterbacks that went in the first round, there's a clear number 1. And then I'm not sure. What happens? All right, so it's Josh Allen went 7th overall. Baker went 1st. Darnold went 2nd. Josh went 7th. Lamar went 32nd, I believe. 31st, 32nd.
Last.
Okay. How do they obviously Josh goes first if you try again. Then what?
I think Lamar probably goes 2nd.
I wouldn't take him though. So that's kind of where I'm
well,
wondering.
you would take him over Darnold.
I would take him over Darnold. I think I have to go Baker over Lamar though, because I trust him
Oh,
more.
see, I would take Lamar over Baker because I know Lamar at least has the elite athleticism to do something when nothing is available.
Okay.
But Baker does. I mean, Baker doesn't have the speed or anything like that. But Baker is able to, when he's got a scoot, he can get out and scoot. But I think the way he plays the game is his best attribute. I think, as to a certain extent, the same thing goes for Josh. The way he plays the game gets people to follow him.
Yeah, that's what I mean. I can't put Lamar on my team and say my team's all set now. I trust my quarterback. I need to say I trust my quarterback. And Baker, like, I trust Baker in the same way that I trusted Fitz, if that makes any sense. Like, I believe in you. I know it might not always work out, but I believe in you. You can be in charge. I trust you. You're the chairman. You're the foreman of the jury. Like, you're good. I can't put my team in the hands of Lamar, so I've got him. I guess I've got him third. I guess Darnold would go after him, but I trust Baker to be my leader more. You know what Baker makes me think? Baker makes me think that I should have tried to enjoy Doug Flutie when he was here. I couldn't because it drove me crazy because I wanted a real quarterback. But that's what we had, and maybe I should have liked him more. But I hate him as a person. Like, I just couldn't stand the guy. So I guess that makes it a little different. Baker's more fun to me. I don't know why I'm going on this right now. I don't know. I'm just talking, man. Just talking to my friend Scott Wilson.
Well, there was a moment last week it was either last week or 2 weeks ago, where Baker scrambles, picks up a first down, gets tackled awkwardly, kind of grabs at his leg, but the defender, it looked like he was going to be injured. The guy that tackled him starts talking smack, and instantly the injury goes away, and Mayfield stands up and gets in his face.
Right.
And it's like, yeah, this hurts, but I'm not going to miss an opportunity to talk some smack in this guy's face about the fact that we just got a first down.
That's fun.
I don't know, he just, I liked him coming out of college. Just remember the Kansas game?
Yeah,
they
flipping off the sidelines, and
and then he scored a touchdown and grabbed his nuts.
Or that's
and
what it
stuff
was.
like
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
Like, there was a lot of that stuff that, there's just something a little bit off, but it's that off that I think gets the other guys going and can get guys to make plays at the end of the game because they kind of believe in him and they like him. And Josh certainly has that as well. When you've got players coming home from training camp saying, I want to go hang out with my quarterback more, and that makes a difference. I mean,
yeah, no, that's right.
And when you get into the game, Baker does something like that, it gets everybody going, gets the whole club excited.
Do you remember NFL MVP? At one point, I think held the touchdown record for a single season with 25. He might still, I don't know, but running back Sean Alexander, you remember him?
I do.
Have you heard anything?
Seahawks, right?
Yeah, Seahawks, Alabama. Have you heard anything about him recently? He's been in the news. Are you aware of
it?
the?
Going up.
Yeah, his numbers are way up. So I saw a story and it said that Sean Alexander, I don't know if it said admits or reveals something. And I thought it was going to be like, it just, the opening of the headline had the vibe of a diagnosis of illness. Like, it was reveals, I think. Former NFL MVP Sean Alexander reveals. I was like, oh no, come on. I like Sean Alexander. What he revealed is that his wife is pregnant, which is nice. 14th kid. 14th kid. Like, I thought it was a lot when we got up to 3 boys and we could field a Gus Macker team. This guy's got a full, NFL side with subs. I'm sure there are girls involved. Probably, right? That would be a story if it was 13.
Well, they could go 7-on-7.
13 boys plus this. They can go 7-on-7. That's right.
Yeah, that's a lot. That puts him up in the pantheon of NFL players.
I think he's in first place.
Cromartie had a bunch. Remember, he was on Hard Knocks and couldn't name all of his kids.
Yes, Cromartie and your Travis Henrys of the world, and
Travis Henry had a bunch. I did.
Eric
When I
Moulds.
saw this, there was a lot of memes and a lot of tweets about like the reaction from the Rivers household because he's got a bunch too.
Yeah.
And they were all like guys walking into the arena, like ready to go, like, all right, we got to get back to business type of thing. Because Rivers has been so synonymous here with cranking out the babies as well. That's a lot, man. I don't even see how you could do that.
No.
I'm not talking physically. Like, how can you actually raise that many? It becomes that's
I will say,
like,
if,
how could you even pretend to be actively involved in like 4 of them? Because 4 of them are quieter, and you're just like, whatever, dude.
yeah, good.
Yeah,
Whoever's
these
not
guys-
talking is my favorite.
right. Like, you can't be at everything. It's very hard.
I feel bad trying to get to 2 different travel baseball team games. Like, that's hard. It's hard with 2 kids playing travel. He's got 14 kids. Well, he's got. They lost one, so they currently have 12, and this will be the 14th that's born, but one passed away, briefly or shortly after being born. So, but 13 is still too many. I
All right,
think
so. The one is definitely dead. They have one that died.
they have one that they lost daughter
You said
Tora.
briefly.
Well, she was alive for 70 days. So it's,
Okay.
it's the
Well, but
14th.
the way you said it made it seem like briefly they had a 13th that was dead.
No.
Back now.
Oh no.
That's
the
how I
the
took it.
death
Okay.
wasn't brief.
All right.
The life was brief. I didn't
Okay.
mean to. I'm not trying to downplay this. They lost one of their children in 2017, 70 days after she was born. But there are 11 or 12 siblings listed. Plus this will be, and then one that's no
Number
longer with us.
14.
Then number 4. Right. But the bottom line here's. I will say this. This is a positive. You watch like Hard Knocks, and you see the house that some random, it's a guy and his wife, they're 25 years old, and they have a, 12 bedroom, 18 bathroom house. It doesn't make sense, and it just seems like a waste. I mean, I'm good for them. I got no problem with it, but it seems wasteful, all the space that you have. If you can afford bedrooms, and I bet they don't all have their own rooms. Even on NFL MVP money, I bet they don't all have their own rooms. But I do appreciate that they can fill up a house and use the space that he can afford to pay for. Because if he had 6 kids, he would buy a house that could house 14 kids. And now he's, I don't know. I appreciate the efficiency and the proper use of whatever giant home I assure you he lives in, having this many kids.
One thing that would make me depressed is if I was Sean Alexander, would be one of these days if somebody actually had some type of spreadsheet that showed just how much money I've spent on like fruit snacks. And just thinking about all, like, he's probably, I got CTE, and I've in my life now, because of all these kids, I've spent like $48,000 on fruit snacks.
Yeah.
It's got to be up there.
Well, the move
It's got to be.
The move is to invest in Welch's,
Oh, I guess.
and that way
you're
you
just kind of
you feel good about it. Like
buying your own stuff.
we're gonna buy the fruit snacks, but we're always gonna buy the Welch's fruit snacks. This picture I'm looking at right now is Sean Alexander on the field on game day, Ring of Honor celebration, for Sean Alexander with his entire family there, his wife and all of these kids. And I'm just looking at, they're all wearing these neon wristbands. I'm just thinking about how hard it is. Like, if I call up our buddy Brad Bisbing at the Bisons, I'm like, hey, I want to come to the game. Can you hook me up? I feel bad because I have 3 kids, and anytime I ask for a favor, it's me plus 4. Can you imagine you're Sean Alexander? Like, yeah, I'd like to come to sure, I'll come to the theme park. All right, you bringing your family? Yeah. You need like 3 passes? Like, no, not exactly. I'm just looking at all these wristbands and thinking about the difficulty. Thinking of the John Fullers of the world who deal with this kind of stuff. About
They've got to make the passes.
Making it accessible for Sean Alexander and his wife and Heaven and Trinity and Eden and Joseph and Justice and Temple and Honor and Jebediah and Eternity and Hosanna and Hope and Judea and whoever and Torah and then whoever the new one is. Like,
Are you just riffing on biblical style names, or are those the names?
I made them up in my head.
Okay, because I love that.
I didn't. No, that was real.
I love the thought of, oh, are they real names?
Yeah, it was real. You think you think I'm that talented? I appreciate that. I love that. I love that you think I could have just made that up. No, it's Heaven, Trinity, Eden, Joseph, Justice, Temple, Honor, Jebediah, Eternity, Hosanna, Hope, and Judea. Torah was lost in 2017, and we don't know the name of the new one.
Yeah, that feels like
He's Father Abraham.
Like word association, that they just play word association with Israel. What's the first thing that comes to your mind when I say Jerusalem? And then that's the name of their child. Wow. Oh, I see that. All right, now that I know it's the real names, that's even better. I think you could absolutely riff off double-digit words that are names that are biblical. Absolutely.
Is this like a pistachio/donut challenge?
No, because I thought that you just did it. No, this is something I know you could definitely do.
Really? Not that well. That was pretty good. You know what my favorite thing about this is?
He named a kid Torah.
He named a kid Torah. Torah died, though. But Heaven, Trinity, Eden, Justice, misspelled, but fine. Temple, Honor, Jebediah, Eternity, Hosanna, Hope, Judea are most of them. I left one out. You know which one I left out? Joe. He's got a kid named Joe.
Yeah.
Everyone else has crazy names. His kid, one of the kids, like Joe.
It's named him after Jesus' stepfather.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
You got to feel incredibly lucky to get that name out of all that, right?
Big win.
Like, you have to think, holy cow, this is a huge win. To be Joseph Alexander,
right,
out of that crew,
right?
Like, he could have been Bible,
right? He could have been,
yeah,
anything. Yeah, that's fun. UB got a game tomorrow.
Yeah,
and we think we're probably not going to have our quarterback tomorrow, which stinks. How you feeling heading into UB UConn tomorrow afternoon, 3:30, 2:30 pregame on the Bet 1520, hosted by me, but you'll hear Scott there too.
Well, it's going to be a tough game. The UConn's got one of the better offenses, and I include them in the group of five. In the group of five, I mean, they're out there. They take care of the ball, no turnovers, no fumbles. They take care
literally
of the ball.
None, right? Zero.
Yeah, wow. Zero. They take care of the ball. They're very responsible, and they've got playmakers. They've got a good kid in Edwards at running back that can, when they run like a wide zone left, they are breaking long runs. Like almost every time they're doing it, they're ripping off big yardage. They've got Skylar Bell. They've got Skylar Bell, a wide receiver who is a legitimate star. Really gave the Bulls a hard time last year. He's back, and he is ripping it up again for them. And Fagnano, the quarterback, is just nothing flashy, but he's safe with the ball. He's responsible. He distributes it. He's got a decent arm, and can really cause you some problems. He's not a runner per se, but he can pick you up 5 yards if you absolutely need it. So Bulls defense are definitely going to get challenged here this week, and they're going to have to win first down against them on both sides of the ball. I think that's going to be a big thing to watch. I know, third downs is always the thing, and they're certainly important, but first downs on both sides of the ball for the Bulls are going to be important. Can you put UConn in third and 8, or excuse me, second and 8 a lot? And on offense, can you get yourself to second and 5 more often than not? I think that if they do that, they'll be able to be in the game and fight through it. But not having your starting quarterback is certainly going to hamper things a little bit. That's not where you want to be. We don't know for sure if that's the situation yet, but you know, all signs are kind of, I'm preparing that
Yeah,
they're not going to.
that's what I'm picturing. I'll
If
be
he didn't come
pleasantly
back into
surprised.
last week.
I'll be pleasantly surprised if he's out there for warm-ups and ready to go.
Yeah, I mean, if he didn't come into the game at the end last week, then I think that he was hurt. So this game, you want to win every game, and they're going to go out and try to win every game. But much like we were in this situation last year, this game really does not have much of an impact on anything that happens with the Bulls this season. It's not a conference game. Losing last week just basically eliminated them from the college football playoff. So yeah, you want to win it, and I like the fact that the Bulls are playing UConn a bunch. That's a Northeast rival. It feels like they should be playing.
Well, they came into FBS at the same time, and they were kind of dueling early in their existence as FBS programs, and it felt like UConn had pulled ahead for a while, and then it felt like UB had pulled ahead for a while. And now I think we're kind of back, and they're working to get back, so it feels like the Bulls are ahead of them right now, and they should go show that tomorrow. But yeah, it's a natural rivalry. It's not forced. It's not on paper. It's not media driven. They've been eyeing each other since 2008, since 1999. Really, it's been that way.
Yeah. So it's nice, and their defense, UConn's defense, has been a weak spot, but they've been very banged up on defense. So they've rarely had what they would consider their full first team defense out there. They've been banged up here and there. One guy comes back, and then that next game, somebody else is getting dinged up and they're leaving. They run more of like a 3-3-5, but they are so multiple with what they do. It's not the variety of stuff. It's the number of ways that they present it to the quarterback that can cause problems. And again, that can kind of get limited if you can get it to second and third and short, if you win on first down. But if you're back third down and 9, third down and 10, stuff like that, then things get wacky. They are always twisting up front. There's always some type of game running up front that makes it very hard. If the Bulls offensively can stay calm, communicate, I think that they can pick stuff up. And I think we've seen in the first 4 games here that you can do some stuff on this UConn defense. But if you get in those long situations and they start bringing guys from all over the field, it gets really hard and puts the quarterback under a lot of pressure. And for a guy that could potentially be making his first start for the Bulls in Gunnar Gray, that's not the situation that you need him to be in. The Bulls are going to have to run the ball. They're going to have to run the ball, and they're going to need Gunnar Gray to be good enough to keep the safeties honest so that they're not loading up the box. If they're loading up the box, that UConn has athletes over there that's going to make it very hard to run. If they get just enough, they hit their explosive plays, which they didn't last week and cost them. If they can stay consistent enough and show enough of a threat in the passing game to keep that defense honest, I think that there's the opportunity to move the ball. But with this UConn offense, they're going to have to score points. They're going to have to get up into the high 20s, I think, in order to win this game. So it's going to be very interesting. And I like the fact that the Bulls have a full week to work with if the starter isn't playing, that they have a full week to work with the replacement, Gunnar Gray, and get stuff in there that he's comfortable with, that he likes, that he knows. And he throws a beautiful ball. He's got great arm strength.
He looked great that last drive when they had to just whip it out there. He looked excellent.
Right, 5th-year senior who can play, and has been in legitimate quarterback battles up into the final couple of days where they made the decision. So he's been there, he's stuck around, and he's going to get a shot. And I like the fact that when guys get a shot like this, that they can go out and prove it. and I think here's an opportunity for Gunnar Gray to go out and prove it. There's been a number of times when either in warmups or in practices where we've said, like, dang, he can spin it.
Yeah.
And he's going to get a shot. It's going to be a tough defense to do it against, just kind of stylistically, but he's got all the talent there to do it and to make himself, to get himself some notoriety here coming in relief, if that's the case.
All right. I'll see you there, man. Pre-game 2:30, kickoff 3:30 at UB Stadium tomorrow. Looks like it's going to be mid-70s. So if you're looking for something to do on a Saturday afternoon while it's fall, but we can still pretend it's kind of summer, this is the day. Tickets are inexpensive, and it's going to be a good battle for the UB Bulls and the Yukon Huskies tomorrow. So I highly recommend purchasing some tickets and come join us. Not you.
Yeah, it's going to be
You'll
fun.
be there.
I'll be there.
All right. Sounds good. Thanks, man. Oh, you got to do a pick. You didn't do a pick.
Oh, yeah. All right. I'll give you a pick. Hold on. Let me pull it out here. I'm going to go Oregon plus 3.5 at Penn State in the whiteout game. I think Oregon might beat them.
That would be sad. That would be sad for all those people dressed in white.
Yeah. I'm also kind of intrigued that Washington at home getting 8 points. I know they're playing Ohio State, and the Buckeyes are very good. But the Huskies I think they've won like 22 games in a row at home. Very good. They're very good at home. And that's a long trip for Ohio State to make. I don't know if they've ever made it out there. So I think that game could end up a little bit closer than people are thinking.
You mean in the storied history of the Big Ten, they haven't traveled to Washington every year or every other year?
Right. Exactly.
All right, cool. Thanks, man. Talk to you tomorrow.
All right, see you.
All right, bye. There's Scott Wilson. He is our senior football correspondent and our friend. We'll be right back with to wrap things up here on episode 175 of Writer Radio. Why, yes, that Tool song is incredibly long. It's called Invincible. It's on Fear Inoculum. I just looked up to see they're making a new one, and yes, Tool is working on a new album. They plan to dedicate 3 months in spring of 2025 to organize ideas and write new material. Maynard James Keenan, vocalist, says they've expressed a renewed sense of urgency to create, stating, quote, "Life is short." Yeah. So, yeah, bring it. They take a while on these albums, but they put a lot into it. There's a lot of thinking, a lot of math, a lot of stuff going on in every single Tool thing, especially a 12-minute song called Invincible off of Fear Inoculum. It's been a while. Is that 2018? When did that come out? It seems right. Let's see. What year was that? Fear Inoculum Wiki. I didn't type out inoculum. Inoculum Wiki. 2019, that came out. August 30th, 2019. It's been a while. Release an album, start a tour, shut down the world, COVID. So the last album, basically, Fear Inoculum has existed for as long as I've lived in this house, because we moved here in October of 19, and then the world closed for a year and a half or so. I have seen them twice since then, once in Buffalo, once in Rochester. But it's been a while. It was a long time ago. When did Tool play Buffalo? I was thinking that the concert was pre-pandemic. Maybe it was. Maybe the album came out and then we saw it. I'm going to look that up. All right. Tool, Buffalo, set list. They played KeyBank Center in 2022, February of 22. Okay, so post-pandemic. I went to that one with my man Josh Gregory, our senior music correspondent, who we haven't heard from in a while, but we should. Got to find a reason. Josh, any reason, come on in, man. We're looking for you. We appreciate your insight. And then I saw them again in Rochester. It was on my birthday or the day before my birthday, something like that. Maybe a year later, probably 23. Rochester. I'm going to guess November 6th, 23. It was November 6th, 23. Yes. I went to that one with my son, Zach, and that was great, too. Very similar show, but he hadn't seen him. I've seen him 3 times. They played in 2002 at the arena in Buffalo. I went to that one with. Did I go with Rich Gensler? I think I might have gone with Bull. Or he just hooked me up with tickets and I went with my buddy Sean. But I definitely saw them from a suite in 2002. And Gensler was definitely involved in that. And then I went with Josh in 22. It has been determined, February 27th, 22. And then I went with Zach, my son, in 23. They're a great band. They're a great band to see live especially. But give me more music, Maynard. Give me something new. It'll be great. Whatever it is, it'll be great. It takes a long time, but it comes out great every time. So that's cool. One final NFL thing. The Ravens are playing the Chiefs. Both teams are 1-2. I am conditioned to consider them the primary threats in the AFC to the Buffalo Bills going to the Super Bowl. So I'm not positive yet what I want to happen there. I think I probably want the Chiefs to win. I don't want them to get right. So one of these teams is going to be 2-2. One of them is going to be 1-3. I think I'd like to leave the Ravens for dead and then just plan on the Chiefs being as bad as I think they are. So I think in this case, where both teams are a threat, I think I'm rooting for the team that I fear less. And I fear the Chiefs less. Because I don't have an answer for Derrick Henry. He's not going to fumble every game. And had Ed Oliver not popped that ball out, the Bills lose that game to the Ravens because of him. Not because of Lamar Jackson. I have no fear of Lamar Jackson. But the Chiefs, I mean, am I afraid of Travis Kelce? Is that the thing? Am I afraid that they're going to get their receivers back and get everything right by the end of the year? I don't know. They look tired to me. This obviously could prove wrong. But right now, September 26th, 2025, 3 games into the season, I'm looking at a 1-2 Ravens team traveling to the 1-2 Chiefs, and I think I'd prefer the Chiefs win. I don't want them to look good doing it. But somebody's going to come out of that game with a win. I guess tie is possible. But somebody's going to come out with a win. Tie would be great. I mean, no part of me will predict the tie. They're very rare. But that would be the ideal outcome. But if you got to pick a winner here, I think I want the Chiefs. The Chiefs at 2-2, the Ravens at 1-3. You still get to play the Chiefs. The Bills will handle the Chiefs, I think. If they don't, they don't. But this whole topic is predicated on believing that the Bills are good and there are teams that are in their way. And clearly you have to include those 2 teams. They beat the Ravens already. So if the Ravens are sitting at 1-3 and the Bills are at 3-0, let's go 4-0. Let's go 4-0. I'm going to give them a win against the Saints. Although, even in their best era, they had a bad loss to the Saints. Remember that? In the snow? Dalton Hilliard giving a shimmy shake to Leonard Smith and making him fall down. It felt like a 90-yard touchdown run. It might have been a 30-yard touchdown run, but whatever it was. Should I look that up? John Fourcade was the quarterback. The Bills were great. I'm going to find it. Yeah, I thought I was done. I have one more thing I want to talk about, but I thought I was done with football. Now I need to look this up. Bills, Saints, history. We'll find this game. They've played 12 times. Bills are 5-7 all time against the Saints. How about that? All right, when would that game have been? 92? 92 or 89? Bills lost. 89. Box score. All right. Saints take a 13-0 lead and hold on to win 22-19. This is in December 10th, 1989, so the story checks out. There was snow. There's John Fourcade. He's in the game. Dalton Hilliard. Oh, it wasn't even a run. It must have been a screen pass or something. Dalton Hilliard, 54-yard pass from John Fourcade gave the Saints a 13-0 lead in the first quarter of that game back in '89. This was just prior to the Bills becoming the Bills. That was the year of the Ronnie Harmon drop. They went to the playoffs and lost in Cleveland on the drop by Ronnie Harmon. And then they would go to 4 straight Super Bowls after that. The first touchdown of the game was scored by John Tice. I remember Mike Tice. He was a tight end and eventually a coach. John Tice. 12-yard pass from John Forcade. And then in parentheses, like on the next one, it says, Morton Anderson kick. This one says, kick aborted. That I'm sure has to do with the snow. We're going to try to kick. We can't kick. We fall down 6, not 7. James Lofton had a touchdown in that game, a 42-yard pass from Jim Kelly, kick blocked. There was some weather. There was some weather to deal with. The point is, there was no reason for the Bills to lose that game to the stupid Saints. Although looking at the records, it made the Bills 8-6 and the Saints 7-7. So it was a 6-7 team against a 7-6 team. An 8-5 team. It's not a massive upset, but I remember it feeling stupid. It felt like a game that shouldn't count. There were Colts games like that mixed in as well during that era where the Bills, it was just assumed if you're playing at Rich Stadium, you lose. And that's one that it stuck with me. It stuck with me enough that I remember details about it from 1989. I'm insane. All right, also insane. Last thing I want to talk about is Monday's show. Monday's show is going to be different in some way. I don't yet know what will be different about it. I do not have the ability to pre-program. I'm not going to be available. It's not going to be a live show at 10. I won't be live. There will be something, but it won't be me sitting at my house talking into a microphone. And I'll explain this very clearly in the pre-recorded version of the show that airs. There's a chance, though, that if you are used to using the Mixlr app, MixLR app, where the place where we started the show, the audio-only version of the show, there's a chance that will not exist because it doesn't allow me to pre-program. There's a chance that I could have it all set up and then have my wife hit play, come down in the basement and push a button so that the show airs at the exact right time. YouTube, on the other hand, I can pre-record a show and have it go live at a certain time. So for sure, 10 a.m., youtube.com/@WriterRadio. You'll have something Monday. Because I can't just not do a show the day after a Bills game. That's stupid. But also, I'm playing in a golf tournament that the tee time is at 11, and I'm picking people up at 9. So that's not happening. I guess technically there's a chance I could press play at 9 and have it run from 9 until noon on the Mixlr thing, but I'm not sure. I'm not sure how it's going to work out. The safer bet for Monday's show is to go to the YouTube link. You should be there anyway. Like, we're trying to migrate everything in that direction, but I don't want to abandon people who've been with me for 75 episodes and say, okay, we're not there anymore. We're going somewhere else. Because I don't know what your situation is. I don't know if you listen on your phone or your computer at work or I don't know how you do it. Everybody consumes media differently. It's got to be on your own terms, and I want to make it work for everyone, as many people as possible. But I'm just telling you, Monday, I am not going to be sitting in this chair talking into a microphone at 10 o'clock. Something's going to happen, for sure on YouTube, maybe on the Mixlr app. But I have to go play golf with Henry Rowengartner from Rookie of the Year and Mark Gaughan and my boy Josh. So I'm going to watch the Bills game. I'll probably just watch the Bills game and then record a show after it and then set it up to play at 10 in the morning. It's probably what will happen. But if you're listening now and looking to listen on Monday, and then you get there and I'm not there, sorry. I'll be there for sure. I'll be there Tuesday. Monday will just be a different version of the show. It'll be something's going to happen. All right. Enjoy the weekend. Go to the Bulls game. It's going to be 76 degrees in the afternoon. And they're playing UConn. It's going to be a real good matchup. So go check that out. I'll be on the air live at 2:30 on the Bet 1520. The other thing I forgot to mention is if you are interested in the more in-depth coverage of UB, if you like Scott comes on, and we try to not go too heavy on the Bulls with Scott. Just do a few minutes at a time because not everyone is super into the UB Bulls, and I'm not going to force that. I want mass appeal, you know? I feel like I talk about the Bills, everybody's in on the Bills. Talk about, anything else in life, you're in on it. The Bulls are a little niche thing. I don't want them to be, but I know they are. And I know not everybody wants a full breakdown of the Bulls. But some of you do. All of you should. Some of you do. And we do that separately. UB Bulls Insider is the name of that podcast officially, like the overarching podcast. And our UB football podcast is contained within that. So if you like podcasts, you like shows, you like talking, you like football, you like Scott, you tolerate me, go find that. UB Bulls Insider podcast. Scott and I recorded yesterday. It went live either yesterday or today. But I'm sure that's available if you would like to find it. You'll get a lot better, bigger, more in-depth breakdown of UB UConn, and also a little post-mortem on last week's loss at home to Troy. All of that exists. It's just not a part of this particular stream, but it's there. If you want it, go find it. That's it. I'm done. I'm going to put on music for a little bit, and then we're going to turn it off, and I'll be back with you live on Tuesday. I'll be back with you in some form on Monday, following Bills Saints on Sunday, and Ravens Chiefs on Sunday, and Bulls Huskies on Saturday. A lot of football. A lot of football. Thanks for listening to episode 175 of Writer Radio.
What are you doing for lunch?
I don't know. I have a turkey sandwich.
We're gonna go around the corner. I think you should come with us. This is a great place.
I don't know. Okay.
We brought you a shirt.
You get out of here? Will you get out of here? Will you? Now, will you go to lunch? Go to lunch. Will you go to lunch?